Do you sometimes ask yourself, is it enough? What I'm doing, is it enough? Or should I do more? Should I try harder? Should I be faster? If so, welcome to the club. I'm a member too. Let me tell you a little story about it. I was 25 years old when I received my first job offer. Sales manager in Barcelona, baby. And you know that job description? I mean, it had it all. Rooftop terrace, international colleagues, a lot of responsibility, a lot of flying around. I loved it. And you know what I loved most about it? It held kind of a promise that something big is waiting for me in that city. See, one thing you should know about me is that I've always wanted my life to be kind of special, you know? I've always been a big dreamer. See, that's me on the right, and that's on the left, that's my cousin Charlotte. You can imagine how she loved it to have that picture on the TED stage. Thank you, Charlotte, at that point. No, but joke aside, I always wanted, in a way, to conquer the world or leave a mark on that planet. That average Joe life was never something for me. So when I arrived in this vibrant city of Barcelona, the city that never sleeps, I took off like the rocket, man, and I embraced that busy life and I squeezed it like a lemon. Night shifts, business trips, sales calls, hotel lobbies. And then, of course, there was my boss, my clients, my colleagues. I managed it all ASAP. And you know what was with me all the time? That bad boy here. The cockpit, the co-pilot of my life. It's like the office in my pocket. And of course, there was my private life as well. I mean, friends, festivals, weekend trips, Tinder dates, Instagram stories, always on, always awesome. Because YOLO, right? You only live once. And so there's no time to waste because life is short, so you better be fast. And I'm telling you, I was fast. I was Formula One fast. I was sitting in that Ferrari cockpit of my life doing 200 miles per hour, juggling 20 balls at the same time until I hit the wall. Amygdalitis. Nothing too dangerous. I mean, this is not a hero story. It's just that my tonsils were swollen to the size of a watermelon. And on that day, a young doctor came in that hospital room, and he came with a scalpel to scrape my throat in a way so he could actually make space so I could breathe again. It was caused by stress. And I remember that night I actually had to stay in that stupid hospital. It was 30 degrees. I was sweating like a pig. I had these green hospital pajamas, remember? The ones that make you feel so stupid, vulnerable in a way, and I was so pissed at myself. I was so frustrated with me and my body because I had to stand still for the first time in 2 years, in a way. And that night, one thought crept up in my head, something that I tried to push away for a very, very long time. It's a thought that I was lost. And I don't know if you know this feeling, but it's coming, I don't know, it's in my gut or in my heart. It was just like, I'm going into a wrong direction, I guess. Something is missing, something needs to change. I'm not really fulfilled. But I didn't know what, of course. I was that Ferrari, stranded in the desert in a way, out of gas, no GPS with me. And I find a wonderful definition of crisis. That moment when something old is dying before something new has been born. And today, I'm standing in front of you and I can tell you from the bottom of my heart that I found my way. It's been a couple of years now, but I completely changed directions. I'm working now as a life coach for some of the most successful, creative, and inspiring personalities, entrepreneurs, and professionals in Germany and Europe. And maybe you can see it on my face, or the smile on my face. I really love my job. And I want to share with you just 3 tiny pieces of the puzzle that helped me to figure all of this out, to come from old to the new thing, and to escape that rat race in a way that I've been in. And yeah, 3 little strategies that helped me, and maybe some of that might help you as well. So, first piece of the puzzle. In Barcelona, I never stood still. Maybe you know that kind of lifestyle, right? The next big thing, like the next big advantage. It's just around the corner, so you just have to chase it. It was like I was chasing happiness in a way. I never said no to anything. Have you heard of that phenomenon? FOMO, the fear of missing out. I got it, for sure. Then, of course, there was a second reason why I never stood still. Robert De Niro says, you'll have time to rest when you're dead. And that's exactly what I thought as well. I mean, a young guy like me, I don't need to rest. I need to conquer the world. Come on. And of course, there was a third reason, which I figured out today, and I would never have admitted that back then. In a way, I think I was a little scared to rest. Scared of the silence, the thoughts, emotions, fears maybe coming up. In those moments when you stand still, all that sticky stuff, you know, it's so much easier to just get out your smartphone and browse through a website instead of dealing with yourself. So basically, I was at Formula 1 car, but the result was I was running in circles. Like running in circles all the time. I was really fast. But I didn't check if I actually go into the right direction, or I didn't check whether my batteries are still full. So when I realized, in a way, after a couple of months or years, that I was running away from standing still, I started to change something. And the first thing was pausing. And now you might think, okay, pausing, come on, David, we're talking here, technology, 21st century, tell us to pause. That's so easy, come on. I think, at least that was my experience, in that speedy society, it's not that easy to pause anymore. See, I was kind of an addict for speed. I was really addicted to that kind of bam, bam, bam life. And of course, there are experts in standing. I mean, this guy, he's a master of pausing, I think, but I was a bloody beginner. So I had to practice it. And one thing that I implemented was a new routine, and I still have that actually. Pretty simple, in a way. It's me time. Every other week, usually on Mondays, I have a date with myself. And that sounds in a way weird, but it's awesome, I'm telling you. And you know, I do grandpa stuff during those Mondays. And you can do whatever you want if you want to try it out. But I'm doing, I don't know, I go to swimming pools, I read cheesy books. I try to solve Sudokus, which can be nerve-wracking as well, by the way. But I just do my stuff. There's no big functionality behind it. I just have my time. And I tell you, it helps me to connect with myself and also to recharge my batteries. So, yeah, in a way, that helped a lot. So, for those of you who are still on Robert De Niro's side and say, come on, David, pausing, it's in a way useless, I brought some evidence with me. And it's always good to be backed by Harvard Business Review. They say, the power of the pause. I don't want to summarize the whole article, but basically they say, science and top CEOs agree that pausing is one of the key success factors for life and business. And of course, there's Albert Einstein. It's always good to have Albert Einstein on your side. He says creativity is the residue, so the result, of time wasted. Isn't that wonderful? So, work hard, yes. Play hard, for sure. Pause smart. I invite you to invite yourselves for a date every once in a while and practice a little pausing. So, okay, I learned pausing in a way, or tried, but then there was a second thing that was missing, which was Troublemaker. See, back in the days, me and my smartphone, I told you already, we were inseparable. It was stuck to me like glue in a way. I mean, I took it with me everywhere. On the sofa, in the bedroom, I mean, even in the bathroom. It was like I was taking my colleagues, my clients, even my lovers, with me on the toilet. But that wouldn't happen to you, right? Of course not. And picture this. Sunday afternoon, I'm lying on the sofa, on my bed, hungover. I just want to hide from the world. It's raining outside. You just want to crawl in your bed. Maybe you know these days. And next to me is lying my smartphone. And it's vibrating, it's buzzing. It's constantly screaming for attention. And see, it's a very ambiguous feeling. On the one hand side, you feel like, oh, I'm busy, you know, I'm important. People like me, people love me. And on that other side, it was for me like, please just leave me alone, for God's sake. Give me some space, okay? It was like the constant reminder that while I was resting, the world was running. The world is continuing to go. And that gave me a bad feeling in a way. And then, of course, that inner voice. It's like, oh, okay. You want to conquer the world, and yet you're lying on the sofa. You want to leave a mark. Well, you're leaving a mark on that couch right now, my friend. You could write that email. You should listen to that awesome podcast, but you're watching Netflix. That's not very relaxing, to be honest. So I practiced to disconnect in a way. And one thing, and we've heard that already, and I can only recommend it as well, it's a magic trick that really changed my life. And I swear to you, it really changed in a way. I learned to use this button. And it's the flight mode button. Again, it's so easy in a way, but it's also so easy not to do. First hour in the morning, last hour before I go to sleep, this guy goes offline. See, I close the shop. No 24/7. I close it. David's not available. Sorry. So I invite you to create your own offline islands. In a way, it can be a place in your apartment. It can be a time of the day. Create space for you. For me, it was a real relief to have more control about that smartphone. So in a way, I'm telling you, let technology, with all its amazing things, be the cockpit of your life. Yes, but don't let it steer that plane. Third piece of the puzzle, I learned to pause, I learned to disconnect, but yet I somehow felt unease when I was pausing. So the third piece of the puzzle has something to do with a banana, obviously. Actually, with a whole group of bananas. I was 13 years old in high school, and there were some guys in my class, they were just the cool kids. Come on, you know the guys who are the cool kids in your university, in your class. And my guys in that university, in that school, they were extra cool because they created their own gang. And I'm not kidding, it's the Banana Gang, they called themselves. I have not found out why they call themselves the Banana Gang. I was not a founding member, unfortunately, but I tried to be in there. I tried to belong to that group of cool kids, you know. And I tried very hard, and one day I actually made it. They let me in. And on that year, we went on a class trip to Cambridge, England. And I was sharing a room with those guys. And on the first night, I was just really tired of the plane ride, and I just wanted to go to bed and sleep. Now, unfortunately, in that group of bananas, it was probably the most uncool thing you could do is just go to sleep when you're tired, right? So they packed out their Red Bull cans and they decided for a rule. The first guy who falls asleep will be punished. Teenagers can be so cruel. So guess what the punishment was? Penis drawings all over your face, of course. Yeah. So you can imagine I came back home from that trip very tired. And there was one learning out of that. It's so exhausting to pretend to be someone you're not, to play a role that doesn't fit you. And I think I made exactly the same mistake again in Barcelona. I wanted to belong. I wanted to be part of a group, maybe even a community, maybe even a culture of this stronger, faster, better at all costs. A group of no-limit soldiers, of 24/7 hustlers. And I know there are those people out there, these people that are born for the constant grind. I think it's a very small percentage. And I realized I'm not one of them. And there was one more important thing I realized. I don't need to be in order to be so successful. And so, in a way, I stopped pretending. I stopped trying to be always strong, to be always online, to be always awesome. I gave myself the permission to have limits. And don't get me wrong, I'm still working hard. I still aspire to reach the moon someday. I still aspire greatness, but I do it on my own terms, with energy, with passion, and one thing that I have now, and that's inner peace. See, in a way, I'm my own entrepreneur as well today, and I still sleep in on weekends, and I still allow myself to snooze sometimes. This very morning, actually. And yes, I have bad days, even as a life coach. And I don't hide it anymore, because that's okay, that's who I am. So, in a way, I invite you again to check every once in a while, does it feel right? Or am I part of a banana gang? Am I playing a role in a way? So to sum up, pausing, disconnecting, stopping to pretend. It was not my Instagram account, it was not my jet set life that helped me to figure out who I wanted to be, but it was the conscious moments of pausing and resting and silence that helped me to figure out a way to where I wanted to be. And I want to finish the presentation with a quote from a book which I really loved, Peak Performance by Brett Stulberg and Steve Magnus. In a society that glorifies grinding and pushing to extremes, it takes guts to rest. And so I challenge you to pause and stand still every once in a while. Thank you.